Students' Book Unit 11. Lesson 1. Exercise 3. Listen and answer these questions about Herman Melville, who wrote a story about whaling called Moby Dick.
When his novel Moby Dick came out in 1851, Herman Melville had been writing for 5 years. He had already written 2 books called Typee and Omu, and was popular in Britain and America. Today, Moby Dick is his most famous novel, but at first people didn't like it. But let's start at the beginning and look at what Herman Melville had done before he wrote his greatest work. Melville was born into a good New York family in 1819. His father, who imported goods from France, died when Herman was 12. After he had left school, the young boy worked in very ordinary jobs, in offices and on farms. By the age of 20, Herman was bored with the jobs he had been doing and decided to look for adventure. So, in 1839, he went to sea, first on a whaling ship and later on a navy ship. During one of his voyages, he went ashore on the Marquesas Islands and lived for a few months with the primitive Typee people. In his mid-20s, Melville returned to live with his mother and write about his adventures. Tom, the hero of his novel Typee, spends 4 exciting months with a group of island people. His second novel, Omu, was about Melville's life on islands in the Pacific Ocean. People loved reading about the unusual life Melville had been living in these strange, remote places, and so both these novels were very successful. In 1847, Melville married Elizabeth Shaw, and they bought a farm. Here, Melville worked for 8 hours a day on his third novel, Moby Dick, which came out in 1851. This was a serious book, and many of his readers were disappointed because it was not the exciting adventure story his first 2 novels had been. Melville continued to write short stories and a collection of poems, but wrote nothing important except a story called Billy Budd. Melville had not finished his final novel about life at sea at the time of his death in 1891.